Right, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us here on the bottom line. On the bottom line, we say business at the speed of thought. And so, whatever it is in the business landscape of the country or about economics, especially about employment or agri, you want to tune in and watch the bottom line and get the updates right here on the bottom line. We are coming your way live from our studios here at Rage in Accra. And tonight, we have very interesting discussions about. Take note, this is what it is. For the next 13 weeks, we are going to particularly focus on the development of agric here in Ghana. How can we use agric to support the growth of the economy, the growth of industry, the raw materials that are produced, right from the very subsistence farming to those who are able to commercialize it, and from the commercialization, how we add value to it, to the point of export and to the point of consumption. What are the discussions? What are the issues? What are the challenges? What exactly do we need to consider to be able to grow the entire agri sector here in the country? We have governments upon governments coming up with one policy or the other, talking about how they intend, especially during their political campaigning, through their manifestos, how they intend to develop agric. And of course, in the just recent ended elections, you saw how the two leading political parties went around their projections of agric. There are lots of issues happening within the sector. People are talking about the budgetary allocation or the appropriation and how much has been committed to the development of agric and whether it's actually enough or not. So last week we began the discussions. That's on Thursday. We began the discussions entirely on agric. But for now, every Monday evening, we are going to pay particular attention to agric, right from, like I'm saying, the very raw materials to the value addition into the entire chain and how we develop it. And so we'll be bringing to you some of the very experts in the space who understand and are able to tell us what we should do as a country to go on. Tonight, I bring you one of the very foremost people in the areas of agric. A program is coming up in June, the month of June. We'll be talking about that, but we'll also be assessing the country's entire agricultural state and how we can all support to push it forward. I'm sure that we'll get to bring him back and back again. But tonight, you want to stick and stay with us on our show, on the interview that we have, and we are saying that we are beginning with how we can unlock Ghana's agri-business potential. That's the beginning of the discussion for the 13 weeks. And of course, my guest is already here in the studio. When I come back from this break, I will introduce him to you and we will begin the discussions. If we get the opportunity, would allow you some time to join the discussion, maybe through WhatsApp messages or text messages. Stick and stay with us. We'll be right back.
The Ghana Celebrity Impact Awards, GCIA, is an annual award ceremony that recognizes and celebrates the outstanding contribution and impact of Ghanaian individuals, corporate entities, and celebrities. It celebrates Ghanaian philanthropy, promotes social responsibility, empower youth and community development, and celebrate achievements in giving back to society, thereby fostering national pride and unity. Here are the nominees for the Most Impactful Ghanaian Award 2024. Ibrahim Mahama, Engineers and Planners. Patricia Poku Diaby, Plot Enterprise. Dr. Gifty Akushika Lamte, Sedalco Group. Dr. Osei Kwame Despite Group. Samuel Amotobin, Tobinco Group. Kevin Autry, Springfield Group. To vote for the Most Impactful Ghanaian 2024, go to www.GhanaCelebrityImpactAwards.com. For enquiries and table reservations, call 053-755-0058 or 053-753-5390. The Ghana Celebrity Impact Awards is brought to you by Visa King, GCIA, celebrating the spirit of giving back.
Right, you welcome back from the break. This is still the bottom line, and you can find us on all social media pages. You can check on Chairman Kwesi Efri or Metro TV News page. You can follow us on X as well and Instagram. All is Kwesi Efri, and you can find the detailed discussions that we are going to have tonight. Tonight, I told you that I have one of the foremost people in the areas of agri development for our dear country. He is Davis Koboy, and you know him, the president of the Federation of Associations of Ghana Exporters. Chief, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you're doing well.
I'm good. You are too.
I am doing very well. We are beginning a discussion in the area of agri because we believe that the focus of the country may be, I don't know if you think same, is gradually tilting away from agri. Some time back, we had lots of attention on how we would develop the entire agri space. Then oil came in, and then the service economy came in, and everybody is chasing the extractive industry. How much is oil contributing to the economy, and now the telecommunications, and so on and so forth. I don't know if you think same.
Okay, so thank you very much, and let me take this opportunity to say good evening to your cherished viewers. I don't think same.
You don't think same?
No, at all, because
if you can push the mic, you can just bring it closer.
Yes.
Yes.
So I think if you look at for the past years, since we discovered oil, government comes, government goes. But if you look all through, they develop certain things. If you look at the previous government, for instance, they did what they call the Planting for Food and Jobs.
PFD, yes.
They did the PFD 1, PFD 2. The current government is doing the Feed Ghana campaign. So that tells you that they've not really left a Greek, but there are bottlenecks that need to be cleared, and that is the reason why you are not really seeing.
But is it not political? Forgive me, we were supposed to have started from the event which is coming up. We'll go into it. But is it not political sloganeering where because there are a chunk of the populace in agri, we need to say something to you so that you are happy with us and vote for us? But really, the commitment through finances, commitment through support, commitment through what we do with you is not that much.
I think for me, and let's be honest, I was the 2009 National Best Farmer.
Yes.
I'm the chairman of the National Farmers and Fishermen Award Winners Association as well. And where I sit, I think there is a bit of commitment from government.
There is a bit of commitment.
It's not really a slogan. The only where I only depart is the financing aspect and also maybe mechanization aspect where we don't really modernize our agriculture. Every government talks about the youth going to agriculture, but is that the case? And I come from a school of thought where I don't believe that every youth to go into agriculture, because you really need to be you need to have the appetite for it and also be committed and also be disciplined before you can back into agriculture. So you need some role models sort of to be able to look, somebody is made in agriculture, so I really want to go into agriculture. So the slogan for us, as in every youth, to go into agriculture, for me... You don't think so? Yeah, I don't think it is for every young person to do? No, because you really, really need... Because what are they going to do? Because when you talk about agriculture, it's a whole value chain. It's not just about tilling the soil. That is one thing. it's a whole value chain. You have the services within agriculture. You have, how do you call logistics? A lot of things. It's a value addition, certification before the production itself, mechanization and other things.
Exactly.
These are all part of agriculture. So if you don't really set them up and explain what it is, what it encompasses, it becomes a problem. Because you ask them to go into agriculture, one will go and just get a land and start cultivating. All of a sudden, they start having issues. Then they depart from it. So I think that for me, there should be some sort of push-pull system where you have the new cross farmers and our growers, where people they will mentor the youth. By doing that, the youth sees the results. Because, for instance, if they walk to my farm and they realize that I'm able to produce to sell, I have the market, and I generate some income, they'll be more than ready to do so. But if they don't see that, then I think that for me is a problem.
It's a very good point to make, because lots of us think that, well, as I'm sitting here, or young people that are coming up, no matter what you're doing, find a way to do some agric on the side. Or eventually, if you're able to go into agric full time, for the purposes of the fact that we're all pushing entrepreneurship, we are pushing startups, and there is not much capital. Agric is a good place to start with, and so it's easy to go in. But you are telling us we shouldn't.
It is not just easy to
not
go
everybody,
because,
not that
yes, because it is capital intensive as well. And we live in a country where your base rate, 3 weeks ago, our base rate was 28%. So the banks are lending between 35-38%.
Yes.
Are you able to borrow at that rate to invest in agriculture? The answer here is
we can start small. We can start with 10-acre maize farm.
Yeah,
or
10-acre maize farm. So if you start with 10-acre maize farm, you still have to pay labor. And you know the labor charges per acre now? I mean, for instance, if a tractor plow an acre,
the fuel that you buy,
the fuel that you buy, and other things. So these are all capital. So I think that's the more reason why I have been saying always that, look, there should be a special purpose vehicle for agriculture.
That's the point I was coming
Yes,
to. That's a call you have made. I want you to go take your time and explain how that will push us as a country to develop a special purpose for agric, and how that is different from what we started with the political parties or the governments have been doing so far. So
you see, the special purpose vehicle for agriculture are meant for lending. So for instance, like I said, we have a base rate of 28% from the regulator, who is the Bank of Ghana, the governor. And so it means you couldn't lend to anybody less than that rate. So that's why you are seeing the banks doing the 35-38%. The best you could get would be 32-34%.
Even ADB that's supposed to support you, they are not doing what they are supposed to do.
Exactly. They are more interested in comments than because, but you can also blame them because they are taking care of people's money, so they need to invest. And
there are reasons of non-performing loans in the agric sector.
But non-performing loans is everywhere. It's not in the agric sector alone.
It is high in your area because we largely depend on, and of course you are the expert, but we largely depend on the weather. So as it is raining now,
so that's exactly what my call. So a special purpose vehicle where we could lend to the agri space or export space with a single-digit interest rate. One that is done, then we could modernize agriculture by deploying irrigation and all the necessary things. Because if you talk about mechanization, it's not just about the tractor tilling the soil, and you also talk about irrigation and other things. These are all mechanized agriculture. Because we are dependent on the rain, so it's rain-fed agriculture. If you look at the irrigation, because we have water, when you go to our front plains, you go to the water all over. But are we able to tap into?
Not at all.
Not at all. So these are more reasons why there's a need for us to be able to have a special purpose vehicle for agriculture. Yes, the DBGs are there, the Exim banks are there, the GESEL is there to do a guarantee between 30 to 70%.
But are they doing enough for you so far? I mean,
so
you're a major player in the
no, well, I have not gone there because, again, like I said, I'm talking about interest rate. They're too high. So
you can't even go to them for the loans.
Look at the size of farming I do. I don't think that it will even collapse the business. So that's the more reason why, as a leader or as a player, I need to be able to
but push. How are they supporting them? Because if Exim Bank is there, and then you not only are agric, but the entire export sector you are functioning there properly, and they can't support because of the interest rates.
No, I'm not saying they can't support. They are doing a bit of support.
I mean, you don't have the motivation to go to them. That's
the motivation is there to go to
with the interest rates.
The interest rate is not because they have certain arrangements. So that is not the normal killer interest rate, but still, I would still push for a single digit. You understand me? And EXIM is not like the normal commercial bank where you just walk in and there are procedures you know to go through and a lot. Because currently they have the export debts where you could access facility within a couple of days or months or maybe 1 week. It depends on that sort of agreement, the MOU you have. You could be able to do that. But now I'm looking at the general agriculture and the general export because EXIM Bank is just one bank. DBG is there to also be a backup to other banks. They don't lend directly, but they lend to the other principal commercial banks for them to on-lend. You understand? And this is where I depart from that. Look, we have all these ones, but we could also create a special purpose vehicle where as a country we have to be intentional because if you look at our import bill on food, it's about $2 billion a year. Do you understand me? So $2 billion a year. We can still channel the same because what it tells you is we are exporting $2 billion jobs.
Exactly. I agree.
Exporting $2 billion jobs.
Yes.
We are not creating that $2 billion job here. So it's important we work around it to see how best we want to. If we really want to alleviate poverty by creating jobs and creating wealth, the only way to go is to be able to be intentional about agriculture and export. Because I've always said that what we need as a country is agriculture-led industrialization. One that's happened, and that's the more reason why I'm happy with the 24 economy, where, and again, now currently you see agribusiness sitting within the Ministry of Trade. You understand? So it means there are a lot of changes, and I think that I'm hoping that we can maximize our effort and make sure that we take advantage of it.
And how do we do all of this? You have mentioned one key thing for me, that supporting the nucleus farmers. You call them the outgrowers. But we still have a lot of our farmers doing small-scale or even subsistence farming.
Yes.
And we need to be able to commercialize, come to the point where you are. First of all, to feed ourselves as a country. And secondly, to get into your space, be able to export, rake in revenue. How do we do that?
Yeah, so I did mention the push-pull system, where I said the nucleus farmer outgrower. Nobody is cutting the smaller holder farmers out, but then they will serve as nucleus farmers to the big farmers. So the commercial ones, that's the nucleus farmers. So it means that if government wants to support, and like I said, if there's a special purpose vehicle to maybe release funds, it goes to the nucleus farmers, then they will give some funds and other training and other inputs to the smaller holder ones. Because if you look at our history and our farming activities, the subsistence farmers are more than the commercial ones. But we still have people who still want to invest in commercial production. There's the need for us to create an enabling environment for them to do that. Because, for instance, if we are deploying fertilizer, and like I said, I'm the chairman of the World Bank, and the fertilizer doesn't really get to the farmers.
Yes.
It becomes a problem.
Yes.
But then if you have this arrangement of the push-pull system where the nucleus farmers are there, you register all the farmers, both the smallholder farmers and the commercial one, the big ones, then at the very geographical locations, and make sure you tie them. So if you have any support, the support goes to all of them, but you target the nucleus farmer and make sure that he sends that support that you've extended across board. Understand me? So in that case, they become the commercial farmer becomes an off-taker, knowing very well that there's market somewhere for them to deploy. So when you do that, for me, I think that it gives them some sort of, the risks on the smaller holder farmers, you minimize it to start with.
We spoke to one expert, I think last week or sometime back, who believes that government subsidies are not helping. In fact, he explains it very, very well and makes the argument that if if you, the large-scale farmer or an agribusiness person, is getting into business with these outgrowers and smallholder farmers, you are looking at profits. You are making sure they do the things that they need to do to rake in profit. Obviously, eventually, they will also rake in profit. When government comes in, it makes them lazy. And the competition gets messed up. And so we go and come back to round 0 or 1, where people have the government mentality, or, oh, I are buying the paper. And so there is no sense of responsibility.
I think yes, yes and no. Yes, because we have few of them doing that, and no, because others are also trying to compete and make sure that they take, how do you call it, agri as business, the smaller holder farmers. I mean, had it not been that, most of the rice that is coming from the north, and the middle belt, the Volta, these rice are not coming from the big commercial farmers. They are coming from the smaller holder farmers. But then they are tied into the smaller holder, the big commercial ones. I think you understand me. So I think the issue about...
There are some of them, forgive me for cutting, there are some of them who were planting for food, PFJ 1, phase 1, they went for fertilizer, went for this, went for that, went for that. If we had proper data and they had been captured, they wouldn't come back again. But PFJ 2, even though it was focused on the youth and the person is about 58, will still come back for the same items, and nobody captures it.
So I think that we are speaking the same language.
Yes.
So I was going to go there. Now, look, I think for me it's about planning and also data. Because policy generally is supposed to address a particular case. Do you understand me? And it should be evidence-based. You don't speculate to formulate policy. It should be evidence-based. So all these things, the PFD, the green, how do you call it, the current program and everything, these are our policies. But then I think it should be backed by data and other logistics, and that will make sure that people will get it. Because if you have somebody, so for instance, if you went for fertilizer last year and you couldn't account for your name, you should be flagged in the database so that when you are going for it again, nobody gives you fertilizer. Do you understand me? So, and that's the more reason why I am happy that the previous administration started something of registering farmers. And just last week, I had the agri minister again emphasizing that people should register with the Bureau district and regions. And I think once that is done, and we're able to map the farms, the mapping is the most important thing, because you don't give fertilizer to somebody when you don't know the size of the farm.
Exactly.
Because somebody will come and say, look, my farm is about 2 acres, when in reality the farm is just about half acre. You understand? So these are some of the things we need to tackle, because I don't think that government is ready to throw money away. If that is what is...
But has it not been the case? Government,
yeah, so
we haven't had the requisite... And one of the questions I wanted to ask you, I mean, government throwing money away. Can we not imagine government partners, you specifically, plus other large-scale farmers? We are not throwing the smaller farmers or the outgrowers away. But if you go into the US, for example, a small percentage of the country who are into agri is feeding the entire nation and exporting to Africa.
Yes.
We have the lands, fertile lands, more than them. Can we not, as a country, the 1.5 billion, which has been allocated to agri, we say that we are supporting you, we are supporting other farmers, go to the north, go to the Bono region, the Bono East region, which has vast lands, do large-scale productions, let us set factories there, and then mechanize your farming, do the production, and feed the country. Can you not do that?
Yes, that is a very case I was saying, that the push-pull system, where I thought that the target should be the commercial farmers to also help the
so it should come to you, then you can support the smaller
farmers. So you map
farmers.
the whole country and see where the commercial farmers are.
Right.
And and also look for the subsistence farmers, the smaller holder farmers, who form over 80% of our farming population. Then you map them against the commercial ones and make sure that you send whatever support through the commercial down to them. In that case, you see, you had already arranged for market. If it's value addition, you know what to do. So you become an off-taker. They produce for you, you off-take it, and pay them. They get good money. You understand me? So you start with something, maybe if you know, you give them some initial money deposit before you even bring the inputs, initial money for them to use for labor. Then you give them the necessary inputs, and also you give them technical support. You see, one big thing that is also happening is missing agriculture here is skill set.
Okay.
Do you understand me?
The training.
The training. And I think it's important because currently as it is, we are talking about after we could train and also export our skill set. You understand me? So these are some of the things we need to look at. Okay, if you look at the extension service to farmer ratio, it's still bad. But I think that we should be able to encourage the private sector to set up, how do you call it, the extension services to be deployed to government. You understand me? Where they do that under contracts or the likes. Yeah.
Let me come to this one important issue. And you have been quoted to have said that there is too much stress on the city and it hurts your export. But let's take it from the point of agri. The concern is that the city is appreciating against the dollar. And so you would not now have the economic power of export, first of all, even from the production, and you can export more at a lower rate and at a stable currency. And you think that there's stress on the city?
Yeah, so I said that because when we saw the city appreciating, people were saying it's either good, it's bad, and a whole lot. And what I said, and I still mean it, that it's not about the appreciation, it's about stability.
Okay.
Yes, because if we need to stabilize our currency. Once that happened, then you could plan with it. I think you understand me, because currently, as it stands today, the cedi to dollar is about 12. Yes, when it came all the way from 17, so people plan. You are still buying inputs or certain things at that rate. But currently, the issue here is, and there's also law that is going to enforce our, how do you call it, importers to reduce, how do you call it, their goods. So it means that if we don't have sex or if we don't appeal to their conscience or their minds, then what is going to happen is you will still buy the same thing when it was the same amount as currently. So this is the more reason why I'm saying that, look, too much stress on the city gives problem.
But do you think there is stress on the city now?
Now, no, but then when it was 17, it was because if the cedi to dollar was 17, 18, I think there was stress on it. Yes.
But now, even though it is going down, it is still not stable. People cannot predict.
Yeah, so
you as a businessman, the things that you would want to export, you cannot price them.
It's not about the cedi appreciation. It's rather about stability. So we should rather be able to work around it to be able to make sure that we stabilize it. Once we stabilize it, I know that people exported things hoping that when their dollar, they reckon the dollar, they were going to change to make good money. They did it, so people are losing a lot. But for me, I'm looking at the long term. Do you understand me? The medium and long term, not as we speak now. So if we're able to stabilize it, then we could plan against it. And what will happen to those who are incurring losses now?
Yes.
And this is where I think that our banks should come in and work
and
better.
show them up.
Exactly.
But that means it's not too much of a good news for you, the exporters.
It is what currently it's not, but then in the long term, I think because Rome wasn't built in a day, something should happen for us to be able to get
so there are some of your members who are suffering. Have they complained to you?
Yeah, they have. A lot of them have complained. We've
you have specific cases and how much they are losing?
Specific cases. And look, I've exported yam. I bought the yam at this rate. I've exported. So, and this is when the cedi to dollar was about 16. So hoping that when I get my money, I change and go and pay. Because the yam seller, the producer is not going to reduce.
But that means there is only a marginal change in the profits, but not loss making. They are making losses.
When you talk about profit, what profit? What are the margins? Because
so if I went to
the producer, the highest margin producer will even make will be about 12%, and the exporter will add some 5-10%. So and that was the more reason I was critical about President Trump's 10% tariff.
We'll come to that as well, yes. But I'm saying that if I went to Techima Market to buy yam for 10 cedis, and I projected that, okay, the dollar was 16 cedis, or let's say even 15 cedis. So if I bought it for $100, maybe a box for $100, that's 160 cedis. And then I'm now coming to price it for, say, $150 or $200. And so,
do you think we price for $150, $200?
It is possible.
No, that's
it's business for you.
It's business, but then the
it's business. So you
see,
determine
the consumer
the prices.
out there also determine price at times because you can't just go. We are not the only people exporting to that destination. And let me tell you,
Asia, yes.
Yes, our production cost in Ghana is very high already. You understand me? So our margins, if you put too much margins, we are not competitive. I should be honest with you.
But there is a concern that the prices on let me give this particular example.
Please go ahead.
Pineapple at Nsawam somewhere. I was shocked to see the prices of pineapple at Nsawam at the farm gate price and how much I buy it at Anyansoto market. Or when I go to Fadima Ponte or Kabri market, I was shocked the difference.
So you see how a farmer is shortchanged.
Yes, exactly.
You understand?
Exactly.
So that is my case. But then again, if you brought this same case to the exporter, it's different because you see the freight charge alone. Because currently, the minimum freight you could get per ton is about $1,300.
Oh wow!
You understand me? So if you are doing CIF, your produce plus the freight, you get almost nothing. You understand? So you are not competitive in the first place. That was the more reason why I said that our production cost is very high, and so there's a need for us to see how best we can handle it as a country. And that was the more reason why I've been advocating for the special purpose vehicle, because we can't use same commercial rates, if you understand me, to lend to agriculture. It is untenable. I mean, it's unheard of. It can't work. And that's the more reason why you see a lot of default loans.
The non-performing loans.
The non-performing loans, because people going with the thing that, look, I've gotten an order and I need to produce. So when they get it, they say, look, the interest is 35, 34. They will still, because it is an order, they will still take the same money. But after everything, they realize that they are sinking. So when that happens, they don't retire the loan back to the banks, and it becomes a problem.
But have you had specific cases since the dollar started going down, at least about a month or two?
It's not a month, just about 2-3 weeks now.
Yeah, just about 2-3 weeks now, where some of your members have reported that they have actually made losses.
Yeah, so like I
mean,
said,
proper losses. I was thinking it was just within the space of their profits or the profit margin, and so they will still regain their capital and be able to plan ahead.
Initially, those who shipped things and were expecting their money, so of course, we made proper losses. But having said that, they have to recalibrate. Do you understand me? And see how, because I saw yesterday I was very overwhelmed on the YAM, one of their platforms, where they were also trying to put pressure on the producers to reduce the cost of the yam, because they felt that, look, the city will still appreciate. So they don't know when. Today is 12, tomorrow it could go to 10. So the producers should reduce.
And how are you taking that? You are in both spaces.
I'm in both spaces, because if I also look at my production costs and I look at my margins, then I need to meet them halfway to say, okay, fine. If I look at them, I can reduce it by some 30% for you or 20%, where I make some small margins and see how, because going forward, if I have to go and buy with this other inputs, and it's not going to, if it's going to still be dollarized, then it means that
I'm also still going to have high cost of production.
Exactly. You understand me? So for me,
it must be a very tough
balance
place for you.
It's a balance. It's a tough time. But then what I've been saying,
because the government itself is also calling for reduction. The minister you mentioned, Minister Agribusiness, now under the Trade Ministry.
Yes.
Minister herself thinks that you guys should be able to reduce your
yes, we have to be able to reduce, but you see, because we need to be competitive, and we also need to be able to up our game by because the same land, you understand me. Maybe if your production output now is just about 2 tons, when you could still make 8 tons or 5 tons, then why don't you make sure take the necessary steps to close all the gaps and make sure that you hit maybe 3 or 4 tons. So which means the extra 1 ton will take care of all this. So in that case, you could reduce it. I think you understand me. So these are some of the things we are looking at.
Yeah. That's because when I heard that, okay, everybody on the face value will think that, oh, the dollar rate is coming down. Everybody thinks it's one of the key macro indicators, and so once it's coming down for every sector of the economy, even fuel, we are seeing some marginal reduction going into fuel. So it means for us, literal people, that cost of production will go down. And so for the raw materials, at least.
Of course, yes. The raw materials should go down. So that's why I'm saying that the consumer. So for instance, and I'm happy Dr. Tony Eben of Guta appealed to his people to reduce, how do you call it? Look at the CD appreciation to make sure that they reduce the cost of their products. And I think that will help a lot. Once that happens, then we'll have a balance. So once we have a balance, because for me, a CD appreciation, who really want it? I mean, we are happy with it.
I'll come back to ask you about the Trump war with our countries. And we have had long-standing relationships with them, especially in the space of agric and the export as well, the AGOA and so on and so forth. And I've been asking people about how it's going to impact us. Once you are the person, the direct recipient, I'll ask you about it, but let me take a quick break. If you're watching us, well, this is the bottom line. We say business at the speed of thought. And tonight, we're having interesting discussions in the space of agric development, how we will be able to unlock the country's agribusiness to support the development of our economy. And we have the president of Federation of Associations of Ghana Exporters, who himself is a farmer, the national best farmer in 2009. And he's making very important suggestions. You want to stick and stay with us. When we come back, I will be asking him about Trump's tariff and how we would come out of it as a country.
There was a time in Ghana when waste was everyone's problem and no one's responsibility. Do you remember when, as children, going to Bola was such a chore? When the guys who worked with waste are shunned in the community, we seem to have forgotten them days when waste management was not dignified. Then came a vision, bold, unshakable, one that believed sanitation was not just a service, but a symbol of dignity. A revolution quietly began. A transformation from one Obuafo tricycle to thousands of waste collection vehicles. From open dump site to adding value to waste. From a job no one wanted to one that feeds thousands of homes. From dump site to dignity.
So much love in the air.
What are we looking at?
Thank you guys for joining us on this unforgettable night.
Paw Patrol is on a roll.
It's Max Verstappen in the lead.
The megastar is here.
Absolutely sensational.
Let's go!
Just taking a trip down memory lane.
Get unbelievable entertainment that is unbelievably easy to own. Get and stay connected to DSTV.
The Ghana Celebrity Impact Awards, GCIA, is an annual award ceremony that recognizes and celebrates the outstanding contribution and impacts of Ghanaian individuals, corporate entities, and celebrities. It celebrates Ghanaian philanthropy, promotes social responsibility, empower youth and community development, and celebrate achievements in giving back to society, thereby fostering national pride and unity. Here are the nominees for the Impactful Celebrity of the Year 2024 Female Category: Nana Mama Brown, Jackie Apia, Nadia Buari, Denta, Yvonne Nelson, Martha Ankoma, Juliet Ibrahim, Bella Mundi, Hamamat Muntia, Dinah Hamilton, Ohineyiri Gifty Auntie. To vote for the Impactful Celebrity of the Year 2024 Female Category, go to www.GhanaCelebrityImpactAwards.com. For enquiries and table reservations, call 053-755-0058 or 053-753-5390. The Ghana Celebrity Impact Awards is brought to you by Visa King, GCIA, celebrating the spirit of giving back.
You're welcome back from the break. We are still live on Bottom Line, and I've told you that in the next 13 weeks, we'll be doing strictly agribusiness and everything within the space. So we'll be bringing you all the stories. I will be telling you briefly in a short while about the horticulture program, which is coming. We'll go there and carry it properly and show you whatever happens, everything, the sights, the sounds, everything around it, and present it to you. For the next 13 weeks, our focus is on agribusiness. But let me ask him about the Trump tariffs. And in fact, our government says it is not too much of a problem. Is that the case for you?
Yes, for me, I think that is a blessing in disguise. But my only problem with President Trump, which of course couldn't be a problem, because he campaigned at the back of getting jobs for his people, creating jobs. So where are you expecting him to go and create those jobs? And those jobs could be created from within. Yes. So this is also a way of also discouraging a lot of exports, so that others, his own people, can also start doing something that they produce and also add value to most of the things. But you see, a blessing in disguise, because if you look at the aftermarket, after we have 1.7 billion people with 3.4 trillion GDP. So that tells you that we could just tap into how much do we get from IMF? You understand me? How much do we even get from the American?
I saw a news article, I think about a week or so ago, how much the U.S. Embassy made from people applying to, in fact, the rejected ones, those who have been denied. Huge amount of over $10 million. And I mean, if you compare how much they are giving us and how much we'll give them in 5 years through these applications, we are just...
Exactly. So that has been my worry. And so I felt that we should be able to, as a bloc, we should be able to develop the aftermarket. The only difficulty we have is logistics. And that's because, for instance, if I have to sell to Kenya, my things will have to go, it will take me 60 days to get there. My things will have to go all the way to Europe before descending to Kenya.
If you are exporting to Kenya?
If I'm exporting by sea, because volumes, you are not going by air. The freight is very high. So if I have to go by sea, my things will go all the way to Europe before descending to Kenya.
They would have expired.
You understand me? Not even expired, because I'm looking at the time frame, and because for business sense, it doesn't make sense. When 6 hours, I can easily get to Europe, and 2 weeks by sea, I can still get to the same Europe. Rotterdam market, Finnish port. So it tells you that there's something wrong somewhere. So we need to be able to make sure that we develop those infrastructure. And we are talking about, if you look at the 2023, the Ghana export alone gave us $3.9 billion US. And we declined a bit last year.
Yes, I saw the news article on that also. That's a non-traditional export.
Non-traditional export. That, for me, shouldn't really be a problem, because you can gain and at times you can lose in a way. So I think that the aftermarket needs to be well developed. But how do that? We need to make sure that all the after nations come together and rethink. It's not about the normal seminars and conferences. This is a time for us to agree. Because I've been saying that if you are hungry and you are unable to think, when you are full, then you can't think at all. So once we've had Trump coming up with this, I think there is a blessing in this guy. Again, if you look at the garment market, when you go to Bangladesh and I think their tariff was higher than ours. So we have a couple of them who also think that Ghana is safe haven. So let me rather
go to them.
Go to Ghana, because when I'm in Ghana, it's just 10%. So again, it's a balance. So it's a blessing in disguise where we need to be able to take advantage to be able to make sure that we maximize our efforts in the industry. i.e. after, and also making sure that those who want to enter to come and do business, we do business to create some employment and also leave some money with us.
But are we still a good destination? Because maybe, I don't know, our marketing, our branding, our everything put together, we decided to promote rice some time back. We didn't see where that ended. We are still importing huge volumes of rice, even within the sectors that we've been talking about, the horticulture and so on and so forth. We were talking about onion last week, and I'm told we have about 600 million or billion dollar worth of imports. Onion.
Yes.
That's a problem.
Yes. So I think that is the more reason why I have always been happy with the various government policies around agric. Because like I said, the PFD came, 1 and 2. Now we have the Feed Ghana program, which is also taking care of some of the vegetables. And rice has been one of the major things they were trying to do, where irrigation is being deployed and make sure that the agric, how they call it, lands are well mechanized. You understand me? So they are cleared well and mechanized, and also make sure that we push a lot of people into it. What I think we should be looking at is incentivize people to maybe move a lot into agric, where we get people investing. And that's the more reason why for instance, the Horticulture Expo is one of the key things to let people know. Because, for instance, I remember somewhere last year when we had Coconut Festival, we got Dr. Tony Obantu, the Guta president. When he saw the figures and he also asked a few questions, he committed that, look, for them at Guta, they want to invest in the coconut industry. You understand me? So if you get these people who import, and maybe with the profit they make, they want to also invest some of the profit in production for us to add value, I think it will be a game changer. So it's not that nothing is being done, but it's at a slow pace, and I think that by now we should be intentional as a country to be able to develop agriculture.
Now, tell me about, with all the development that we are talking about and the intentionality, you're doing the Ghana Horticulture Expo 2025, and that's by Fitch, right? So, first of all, let's see what the program is, why you are doing it, and what is its target.
Okay, so Fitch, our main aim is to be able to stimulate export through capacity building, trade shows, influence policy, advocacy, and also make sure that we arrange affordable and consensual facilities for members, both exports, and which, of course, the production ecosystem is part of. Because if you don't have production, if you don't produce, what do you export?
But Fitch is for general exporters, everybody.
General exporters.
Everybody that exports is within your umbrella.
Yes, non-traditional crops.
Okay.
Yeah, so cocoa is not part. Because,
okay, but apart from cocoa, everybody else.
Yes, everybody else. So once you touch it, then you are part of Fitch. We have 22 member associations, and out of the 22 member associations, for instance, Mango alone, they have about 27 viewers under them. We have 22 associations under Fitch.
Under Fitch.
But
under each of the associations, yes, they have their own members.
They have their own members. So, for instance, Mango is a member of the association, one of the associations under Fitch. But under Mango, they have about 27 associations under them.
Oh, wow.
Then when you go to Yam, they have about 5. When you go to vegetable, we have the vegetable growers association, we have the VPEG and GAFES. When you go, they also have other.
So in effect, you will have almost 100.
Coconut, you have about 7 different traders, producers, exporters, processors, and the likes under them. Then we have 40 plus corporate members who are controlling huge operations. You understand me? From logistics through to just name it.
Right.
Services through to just name it. So our main aim is to be able to stimulate export. Like I said, the production system is part, because you can't neglect that ecosystem. So by doing that, we decided that, look, we've been attending fairs for the past years. Just recently, at Food Logistica in February, we brought a deal close to $300 million. And recently, October, the last one in Mark Fruits, Italy, brought a deal over $100 million. So that tells you that if 2 fairs can give you a deal close to $5.5 billion, if as a country, if you're able to maximize our effort to put in all we'll be able to rake in that foreign currency. Once that happens, it still contains the constant depreciation of our cedi against the major currencies. So the whole idea is, because we've been attending first, we also want the outside world to come and see what we are doing. Fortunately, last year we got USAID being the major sponsor. We supported by the GIZs, Fidelity Bank, and Gesal. And this year we don't have USAID, so we have Ghana Export Promotion Authority, who are collaborators. Ghana Exim Bank, Fidelity Bank, Gesal, Agromonti, and AgroCity supporting, and other few partners. In fact, the multimedia group are media partners. And
Metro TV is joining now.
Very well.
So you can quote us anywhere when you are speaking.
I'm very happy you are saying
because we'll be there, we'll cover it, and we'll make sure we give every detail of the entire event.
Exactly.
It's a 3-day event.
Yeah, 3 days.
So we'll be there throughout the 3 days.
We are expecting 200 exhibitors not from Ghana, from Europe, after countries, and also Ghanaians. And we're also expecting over 3,000 trade visitors for the entire 3 days. His Excellency, the President of Ghana, has been generous to
grace the occasion.
To grace the occasion as a guest speaker, the main speaker for the first day opening. So, and we have a lot of ambassadors coming. Just name them. So I think
outside Africa, nationals or investors, are we getting some?
Yeah, we're getting outside Africa. We have people coming from Italy. We have people coming from Brussels. We have people coming from Germany. Then after we have Uganda, Nigeria, Benin, Liberia, and almost all of them are also coming. Some are coming as trade visitors, and so trade visitors, either they are coming to look for deals, or some are also bringing their technology to
here to Ghana.
Yes. So, and we are also going to have a lot of seminars alongside where the youth will be targeted, women will be our main targets, and also those who want to go into export, because we also have regulators coming, PPIZ, FDA, GSA, all of them will be there, including Registrar General. Department will also be there to show you how, if you want to register your company, what do you do? Because you can't start business without registering. The banks are also going to be there in their numbers.
It's important.
Yes, the banks are going to be there in numbers to engage. You understand? Because some have packages that wouldn't need you to borrow at more than 28% because of the MasterCard and other things. So Fidelities and Co will be there. Logistics, we have the DHL, the Conship, and everybody's coming. So it's going to be a vibrant 3 days, how do you call it, fair. And I want everybody to take advantage.
So if I'm in Ghana here, how do I determine if I qualify to be part of the program, if I can come, or everybody is allowed?
So for a trade visitor, you just come there and register. You don't pay anything.
For free? For
trade visitor, you don't pay anything. The exhibitors are the only people paying. So exhibitor who is coming from outside the country is paying $300 per 3x3 square meter booth. Then, so if you want to maybe collapse 20 booths, then you multiply by
that number.
If you're a FAGE member, you are paying 2,000 Ghana cedis. Non-FAGE members are paying 3,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay. So, but everybody who is not exhibiting,
yes, as can just come and you can just walk in the morning. They will register you and give you a tag to enter, so that you can enjoy some of the seminars. It's important people come and listen, because you see, like I said, if you look at if we rake in $3.9 billion last year, and even this year that is gone now, we didn't go to $2 billion, went to 3 point something. And if you look at what 24-hour economy sought to do now, if you're able to put all this together, plus the agribusiness and other things, I mean, we should be able to hit maybe 10, 20 billion. Because if you look at Tree Crop Development Authority, they have 6 crops under them.
Yes.
And the target is for them to generate $2 billion in the next 5 years. And where we sit, we have been saying that if we put everything in place, we should be able to hit about $5 billion from every.
Instead of the 2 billion.
Yeah, instead of 2 billion. So 5 billion times 6.
But are you ready to give them that support?
We are ready to give them that support, because for us, we are still investing in the country. We are putting our all, employing workers, paying workers, and making sure that we develop the sector.
My time is actually up, but how do we get to you? Can we go on your website? Is there a phone number or your social media pages?
Yes, so you go to Faith's
website.
Yes.
So if we Google Federation of Association of
Ghanaian Exporters,
Ghanaian Exporters, we'll find all the information.
Yes, or when you go to Hoti Expo, you Google Hoti Expo, you'll find all the information there as well.
Okay, so unfortunately my time is up, but thank you very much for joining us tonight, and we are happy. We'll come back to you for a lot more discussions, and of course, next month we'll be with you. You said it's the 11th
to 13th
of June at the Accra International Conference Center. So if you're watching us, you want to join at the Accra International Conference Center from the 11th to the 13th of June, but we'll be getting Davis in at least for the next 13 weeks. Keep note that it's purely agric. We'll bring you all the details from the event, the Hoti Expo. So Horticulture Expo 2025, the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama himself will be there. GEPA and all the stakeholders will be there. Investors from outside the country will be joining. And so if you have any opportunity to sell your business, market your business, you want to pick up a booth there for the prices that were mentioned. You can get all the details on their website. My name is Kwesi Afriye. This has been the Bottom Line. Watch out. Next week, we'll still be discussing agri. Good evening.